So the crop residue thing, one thing I think, one particular thing that if we notice how the cropping patterns were earlier, there was diversity of cropping systems. So there was also cattle, livestock that was involved in the cropping systems, which we don't see nowadays. So there is no integration of elements in the system. There is just one monoculture of something, and that is mostly cash crops. So there is no food crop earlier. It's like when for example we grow jowar or something, the food crops as well, that is food for us. The top portion always is food for us. The middle portion is always used to be something that the cattle or the animals would eat, and the bottom portion is always for the soil and the life in the soil. That is how it used to be. So now our farming systems have changed. We have changed from diverse cropping systems, food crops, to cash crops, and to monocropping systems where there is no integration of other elements. There's just one single element, so hence whatever we're growing, that is not edible as a fodder to the animals as well. So we end up farmers are ending up burning.
Go unmute Mr. Lakshminarayanan.
So very good presentation, and certainly after air and water, if you see the Panchabhutas, after air and water, soil is the one which is giving everything for everyone on this side. Now, in view of the challenges and problems what we are facing for the soil conservation, protection, management, its utilization for business or pollution with an industry, and so many things around the soil, and ecosystems are not so positive is to support all the living, like plants, greenery, ecosystems, and people, everyone, sir. But the priority for the nation is or everyone to work for the food security. So, in view of the present soil condition, what we can assume or expect to reach the level of food security? How we can reach the mission of food security? Anything related between the soil and food security? Thank you.
Absolutely, there is a direct relation again with the soil health and food security that is there, sir. So if you are looking at a bigger scale as feeding the entire population, if we look at how the systems were earlier, it was more of a small scale systems rather than seeing everything from a bigger lens. Individually, even if someone's growing, could be at a farmer level or could be at an individual level, growing something for ourselves versus depending on something else that is coming from outside would reduce much of that meeting the needs of the entire country in terms of food security. And when we talk about food security, I think a lot of food is still there everywhere. It is just that it is not reaching people, and people have to also start growing in the small quantities that they can. Let's not think about the entire global picture here or the as a nation, but individually what can we grow, or individual at a farmer level what can they grow. Because if each of them, for whoever it's possible, if we start growing something, the dependence on something else goes down. So for us to expect on a bigger scale from the nation, where from a food security point of view, it's something that we keep expecting all the time. So let us think as an individual, as a family, as a joint family, and see from that lens rather than seeing from that lens to minute problem. So if
we always think that think globally and get a solution to the local one.
think
See, it's okay. You start from in a
sir.
home. See,
Yes.
suppose now so I am in Hyderabad, so
Sir.
living in part of Telangana. Now,
Yes.
can you specifically tell any district
Yeah.
which is having the least problems for soil and supporting for a better production or productivity, so that the farmers will be more happy with a good revenue returns?
Everywhere.
Take any small example of any district, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and almost all over India. I am moving because my background is I did my MTech in geophysics and worked with the Ministry of Mines. And now I am with several NGOs working for soil, water management, pollution, all other studies. Because we see, madam, when I am working with an NGO,
yes,
solutions They want to get all the technology available anywhere over the globe, because like you can see the mobile. See, now the thing is, we need to have in a better solutions even for the poorest of the poor. So when you have that, just I am asking, not that food security is the vision only for in India. No, food security is important for even the individual also, individual farmer, individual village also. So anything in that direction, you are experienced in that, whether planning or implementation. So that's my idea only.
So we are working with a lot of farmers in Adilabad. We are working with a lot of farmers here in Sangareddy district. And there are a lot of people who are working using the regenerative agriculture method, the permaculture methods that we talk about, be it in terms of water harvesting, using FYM, using the biochar, using all the biostimulants and bioinoculants. They are not dumping the chemicals. At least 2 acres. If they have 4 acres, at least 2 acres is how they are how they are growing currently. And they also forming small units of farmer producer organizations, and they are selling it to people who are liking the food that's coming without using any of the chemicals or pesticides or ethical practices. So that is happening. And also you can see we have the NMNF, the National Mission for National Farming, that has started. Why has the central government started it? Because it is also addressing that there is something wrong that we are doing with all these practices, and it has to reach to that farmer level. And we as an organization, we are the lead natural farming institute in 3 districts of Telangana for the National Mission for National Farming project. And here we are trying to educate, we are trying to create awareness among the farmers. And there are already so many who are existing, who's doing wonderful work in terms of growing food naturally. And they have a different set of audience, customers who are taking food for them. So I think if that expands, it's a wonderful opportunity. It is a great boon for the environment, for the farmers, for all of us as well as consumers.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
Definitely. We need to, I think everybody should work on that, starting from the home, then only it's possible.
Yes, we have to start.
Thank you.
From the home.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to unmute Mr. Prasad Sarpaneni.
Yeah, everybody. First of all, an insightful thoughts we got from me, and in fact, it was quite enchanting, I must say, to listen to Shivani Garu. Let me also tell Mr. Prashant that, brainwashing. There's one person in this group who is attending this talk today, Mr. Satish Babu Gadde, who refused to get brainwashed. For the last 100 years, his forefathers, they are into cattle-based farming, and they never looked either way. All other farmers are using chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, but they refuse to be swayed. Model farm, and now the gentleman is here with us. Okay, maybe I don't know whether you would like to speak. Listening, I think he's still there. He's from near Yeluru. Now, one thing I would like to, in observation, I would like to have your opinion on that. This we all know Punjab and Haryana and parts of the Delhi outskirts and all is very problem. Not that it's happening elsewhere. It's very chronic in that part of the country. Whatever incentives, whatever the government tries to do, they're unable to really come out of that. The farmers don't listen. They may be having their own reason. So I would like to know from you whether there is any latest technology which would help us in overcoming this problem, specifically with Punjab and Haryana, because the amount of pollution is horrible there, burning up of the crop residues. Also, I would like I just correct me if I am wrong. See, the mechanization is also creating a problem. Earlier days, when there was no mechanization, the farmers' labor used to go and remove the weeds, the crop residue, the remaining part after harvesting used to be completely removed. Now what's happening after mechanization, there's nobody doing that. So what happens is the remaining crop residue is being burnt. Earlier, in fact, after carefully removing those weeds and the crop residue, they used to mix with some nutrient-rich products like jaggery or whatever it is, and they used to reuse that as a manure for the next crop. So mechanization is also, while being a blessing, is also an evil. So this is where I would like your thoughts. So that's and other thing is slightly just it's only a thought. After listening to the concern expressed by Shivani Madam and you, when it comes to education, yes. While I'm not passing a judgment, but at least after Sadhguru is one person who has been kind of the national consciousness has been raised. He is talking about save the soil. He is talking about bringing back the soils, improving that 3% of nutrition value, humidity and all that he's talking. So while a general awareness is going up, But as you have rightly proposed, it has to be made part of the school and college curriculum. Yeah. Now, I would like to listen to your thoughts on this crop residue burning problem. Thank you.
So the crop residue thing, one thing I think one particular thing that if we notice how the cropping patterns were earlier, there was diversity of cropping systems. So there was also cattle, livestock that was involved in the cropping systems, which we don't see nowadays. So there is no integration of elements in the system. There is just one monoculture of something, and that is mostly cash crops. So there is no food crop. Earlier, it's like when for example we grow jowar or something, the food crops as well. That is food for us. The top portion always is food for us. The middle portion is always used to be something that the cattle or the animals would eat, and the bottom portion is always for the soil and the life in the soil. That is how it used to be. So now our farming systems have changed. We have changed from diverse cropping systems, food crops, to cash crops, and to monocropping systems where there is no integration of other elements. There's just one single element, so hence whatever we're growing, that is not edible as a fodder to the animals as well. So we end up farmers are ending up burning things. So one thing, like you said, is there anything that we can do? I don't know in terms of technology what would be the best thing or something that has come up, but the basic thing is, one is composting the crop residue. Other thing is other thing is, example, if there are jaggery making units like in the village that we are working with, whatever the crop residue, in many farmers they do the sugarcane crop residue as burn. So where there are jaggery units, some units take it to use it to fire the jaggery making process. So the all the crop residue, the source from the farmers, is being used to make the jaggery in that area. So that is one thing that people are doing. And there is also, we are also working on this biochar, where we are burning it in a certain process, which is not like the usual burning process that people do, just like a heap and burn it with low oxygen in containers. There is biochar is a process that people have been using these days, and that char is being either mixed with, could be cow urine, sometime fish amino acid, or sometime just jivamritam and all. You just there is put that back there and add it back to the soil, and this biochar is going to remain in the soil for hundreds of years. And 1 kg of biochar holds 5 liters of moisture. So especially in areas where there is dry lands, where there is moisture availability is really low, so whatever the crop residue is being generated, if it's not completely burnt down to ash, instead made it into a biochar and add it back to the soils, it is better than the method that's being done where it's just not being of any use and creating more pollution. And this is something that is holding carbon and sequestering carbon for the next 10-20 years or beyond that. It stays in the soil. I think that is a better option at this point, considering what to do with that, either compost or biochar, or how to use it within the system rather than removing it off from the system by completely burning it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to now unmute Dr. Madhukar Potter.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. It's very important topic, and lot of discussion and lot of clarity is happening. Such kind of programs, you are weekly, I think you give more importance to the, this kind of, creating awareness. That's Pancha Mahabhuta, all they are polluted. And who polluted those Pancha Mahata? We polluted. Example, I live in city of Hyderabad, and you see how much waste we generate. Somebody is asking plastic. We are the one buying the things plastic, and where that plastic goes back, it goes back to this municipality, and then they make the compost and they dump it, they burn it, and it goes back to the soil again. City waste is converted to composting, and that pollution, we are responsible. I think this is just my question. In fact, I established one model long back. Each house for a society, on their terrace, all your biomass, liquid or organic, if you compost it, first is make a compost and make a biogas also. Use that biogas, maybe small quantity, but ultimately what we are trying to do is a zero pollution, zero waste. If we are able to take care of this, I think a lot of things will be improving. And I remember the example of the Trivandrum, I think, in Kerala, in one of the city, most of these complexes, most of the complexes, all the waste is converted to the compost, and that compost then they use it there only. So I'm just wondering, we have a lot of space in the city where, vacant land, and you have balconies, you have terrace. Can we use this terrace efficiently and use this resource, either is water or I think the lot of opportunity and lot of models need to be, developed, build awareness in the school, colleges, societies. And I think it will be a lot of ample opportunities for the retired people. I remember after the hour of the COVID, everyone went to their homes and they know from where the food is coming. And, this kind of things, it has already happened. But the organizations like you, there are many organizations. Can we do more on this, And then another is now there in the field also, there is a lot of awareness, all biomass. Field level, like it is converted into biochar. There is a society in Hyderabad, Biochar Society, and they are promoting it. And in the commercial level also, there is a biochar available. A lot of companies are converting into biochar. And I think, but this awareness is very important. And thank you very much. The ma'am has really created a lot of interest and discussion. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. So I would just like to add some point to what you said about the biogas thing. I think it's a good thing, but how the urban spaces have become nowadays is more of a community based, where there is high-rise buildings and communities. And I think in setups like that, biogas, if we talk about biogas, forget about biogas. Talking about the basic thing of solid waste segregation is not happening. And for them to change to that extent of biogas, I think it takes, I don't know, it's going to take how many years for them to consider that also into their system. But more of the communities who are a little enlightened about this one, who are eco-conscious. So if
We've had a network issue with ma'am, just prompting her to get
Yeah,
back this
but
Yeah, ma'am.
Trishant, I would like to tell that there are portable biogas available. You can just like a washing machine, you can put that on your terrace or in balcony. And what you have to do, simply segregate the material
together in one place, said is really
and just make the compost. You can do the compost and also generate the biogas. So that
Yes.
there is this is possible. I think we have to do it. We have to, if you are thinking of our generation, future generation, we must do that. We must do that.
So we have to sow this seed in the younger generation who's coming forward. No, like most of the people's brains are not concretized to something that will not.
Why do you want to go for younger? We want to do ourselves. Younger generation, definitely we don't know. Yeah, we should do. We start from ourselves. We are the polluter. We know how we minimize the pollution, and we want to eat healthy. And there is a direct connection as a healthy soil, healthy food, healthy society. This concept need to be, and a lot of things to be done in city.
Yes.
A lot of things to be done in city because the problem is in the cities.
Yes. Totally agree with you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you 1000%, 500%, whatever you said is 100% right. I think we should start from us. I'm not saying no in that aspect. I'm just telling about when sir has told that in the urban we have to change to biogas. I was just telling about how in certain community, like people have reasons to say n number of things, especially now the city is becoming so much of high-rise communities and high-rise buildings, and in settings like that, fitting in this thing is something very complex. I don't see it happening in the next 10 years at least. It's something that happens later. So I was telling, instead of looking at something big, I think something small can also starting off now, and this will happen sometime later. So that's why I was focusing more on, the younger generation who will push it and definitely do that, rather than who already have established the plumbing system for grey waters. They don't have grey water system. So I want to tell urban people to have grey water systems, but implementing that at a policy level and getting it is something that might take some time, is what I was meaning. I didn't mean that it would not happen, sir. Whatever you said is 100% right. I agree with you.
To mute Mr. Sandeep, unmute yourself.
Namaskaram to everybody. In fact, I got a bit delayed because I was traveling. Some points which I have noted. Save soil today, it's a very subjective. We talk it is related to so many things which we are putting into soil without having without understanding anything. First, one of the points was that how do we use biogas in urban areas, right? There is one young engineer in Pune whose name is Priyadarshan Sasrabuddhe. He is he under Vayu. He is making the Vayu brand. He is making gas generators which can convert waste food directly into gas. And these small units you can keep even the balcony of a flat. So this can be done even in urban areas. Only thing what you have to do is whatever food waste you generate, just put it into it and start using biogas. So that is possible and it is being done in Pune. I have seen many installations. So number one, it is absolutely possible. Only thing is that you should have a will to do it. Because today what is happening is that generally the food is ordered and it comes into plastic containers. So the food along with plastic containers is put in a black garbage bag and then that goes out somewhere. We don't know what it is. It is actually it gets we think that our house is clean, but it is just a transfer of garbage from one place to another. We are dumping everything on the earth ultimately, and then we have got mountains of
Yes.
garbages in Ahmedabad. Actually, I belong to Baroda, Gujarat, and we have got mountains of garbages in Ahmedabad. Number two was this. Actually, what we said that open defecation was a stigma to our country, which our Prime Minister said. But is that really so? Open defecation was what it was doing exactly. It was returning everything that the soil needed. Actually, that carbon cycle, it goes like that. Our everything that we generate, in everything biological that we generate has to go back into the soil because we are ultimately made by Panchamahabhutas that everybody, I mean, Indian concept we know. So whatever we eat, whatever we excrete, that has to go back into the soil, which is not happening. Number three, so how we are polluting the soil is again sewage treatment. Sewage treatment is not happening anywhere. Nowhere. Everything. Even the people are talking of Vikas, Vikas, Vikas. My house is just next to the Vishwamitri River in Baroda. That river has black water, absolutely black water and stinking water. Sewage is directly dumped into the river without any treatment. And when we dug a bore in our society, we got black and stinking water. So we are not separating black and grey water. Everything goes into sewage, black, grey, everything goes into it. And that is how we are polluting the soil. We are in Gujarat, in our area, where in the nearby villages, we are getting green, black, yellow, red water when the bores are dug because these chemical manufacturers they have dug the bore inside their factories and they have simply dumped all their effluent into the bores. So what we are eating is all eating and drinking is arsenic. So this soil, who will stop the abuse of this soil? Because we are only concerned with increase of GDP. But in GDP, there is only there actually in a balance sheet there are two columns: is expenses and savings. So here GDP is only increasing, and there is nobody is talking of the expenses. So what we are losing? We are losing the environment. We are losing the soil. We are everything. We are losing all natural resources. We are damaging, and we are nowhere now. But such forums, Vishwa, very happy that such discussions are taking place and a lot of people are participating. And secondly, my brother is Krishi Bhushan Rajendra Bhatt. He has been doing natural farming for the last 35 years in a village near Badlapur in Mumbai. Somebody was talking about how we should, leftover weeds and these leaves which are dried up. There is no need to burn. The soil has the system of naturally
Mulching.
composting them, and your soil can be rich in the carbon and microorganism if you allow the green waste to get composted in your soil itself. So absolutely that there is no need to burn anything. No organic waste needs to be burned. So that is being done. But only thing is many people they are not aware of it. So that is why they think that this waste has to be burnt. Actually, dried greens is a gold. Actually, it is a very good manure. And another thing that we are using chemicals for washing clothes, we are for even brushing the teeth. then washing the hands, cleaning the utensils. If we are using this, naturally it will contaminate the water that is going out, and it will also ultimately contaminate soil. But the thing is, the challenge is that if I am living on the 20th floor in a flat, how do I use ash? Because that will clog the gutter, and that will be a problem for the entire society. So it is not possible. Once we are in urban area, either we can use liquid enzymes or something which are made naturally, but that nobody is doing, because Hindustan Liver is making a lot of money in selling chemicals and soaps and everything. So that is not going to stop. So these are big challenges unless we really move into urban and rural areas and have independent small farm. It is not possible. And then multi-cropping, multi-layer farming system has to be there. Today, monocropping has destroyed our soil. So when you have multi-cropping, soil gets all the nutrients in itself. So what we have to follow is the jungle model. In jungle, if you see, everything is getting food. All vegetation gets food. Everything grows happily. But so as you said, many of you must have read the Fukuoka, Masano Fukuoka. What he says is, do nothing agriculture. So don't even plow the soil. So that is how we have to understand the nature, and we have to, yes, again, the education is, I have grown up in urban area. Absolutely no contact with the soil. Absolutely no contact. But of late, when I started reading, and thanks to the internet, at least it gave me this knowledge, along with so many other bad things in the internet. This is a positive thing, that I could get a lot of knowledge about ecology and all that. So I'm thankful to all of you, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep, sir. I live in Baroda too. I will hopefully see you sometime soon. And I completely agree with you about state of our river and soil and everything. Hopefully we can do something about it. I'm going to move on to the last question of the session. I'm going to unmute Mr. Ramakrishna.
सिद्धांत एंड स्नेहा, थैंक यू। मेरा एक ही सवाल है। हम यहाँ पर मध्य प्रदेश में हरदा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कुछ स्कूलों के साथ काम करने जा रहे हैं। हरदा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ऑलरेडी हम महिलाओं के साथ वुमेन लाइवलीहुड पे हैंडीक्राफ्ट में काम करते हैं, और हम वहाँ पे, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ भी बहुत ज़्यादा केमिकल डाला जा रहा है, और लगभग हर गांव में कैंसर के मरीज बहुत ज़्यादा निकल रहे हैं। तो वी हैव डिसाइडेड कि हम जो है वहाँ पर थोड़ा सा इंटरवेंशन करें। जो आप लोग सॉइल की बात कर रहे हैं, उसको वापस रिवाइटलाइज की बात कर रहे हैं, तो अभी हम लोगों ने इनिशियली एक किचन गार्डन प्रोजेक्ट बनाया है, जो और हम लोगों ने फोकस किया है खासतौर से गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स को। तो हम एक गांव में एक प्रिंसिपल है, उनके साथ हमारा बातचीत हो गया है। हम ये चाहते हैं कि क्या आप सॉइल को रिवाइटलाइज करने की बात कर रहे हैं, क्या आपके पास कोई ऐसा मैनुअल बुक है, कोई ऐसा लिखित में नॉलेज है जो हम वहाँ पे खास तौर से सरकारी स्कूल्स के साथ लेकर सॉइल को फिर से रिवाइटलाइज करना, केमिकल का यूज कम से कम करो, किचन गार्डन घर में लगाओ, ये अभी इनिशिएट लेना चाह रहे हैं। फिर नेक्स्ट स्टेज में हम फार्मर्स के साथ जाएंगे। हमारा इंटीग्रेट बच्चे हैं, और फिर नेक्स्ट इंटीग्रेट बच्चों के माध्यम से घर की महिलाएं हैं, और फिर जो है पुरुष आएंगे जो फार्मर है। तो हम स्टेप बाय स्टेप आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं। तो क्या त्रिशांत और स्नेहा जी, आपका संगठन या जो भी आपका फोरम है हमारी किस तरह से मदद कर सकता है? मेरा सवाल यह है, और हमें आपकी मदद चाहिए।
जी, आप बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो। और मटेरियल और मैनुअल्स के बारे में हमारे पास ऐसा कुछ मैनुअल नहीं है, लेकिन थोड़ा रेफरेंस मटेरियल है। और बच्चों के साथ काम करते वक्त हाउ टू वर्क विद देम, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू नेचर रिलेटेड थिंग्स, बी इट सॉइल, और व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं हम उन बच्चों के साथ काम करने टाइम पे। सो वी हैव अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन from various sources and various other organizations who have worked a little bit with children as well. मैं त्रिशांत को वो लिंक्स, बुक्स का लिंक्स या मटेरियल का जो भी पैम्पलेट्स अगर कुछ है तो मैं उनको भेज देते हैं, और आपको he'll send.
थैंक यू।